today, I really wanted to touch on this topic just because, and I'm always so inspired whenever I get the chance to talk to other business owners, talk to other entrepreneurs, and get to hear about some of the things that they're struggling with. I get to hear about, what's happening with them in their business, how they're promoting it, how they're building their brand awareness, and how they're getting attention. So each time that we have these PR breakdowns, or even when we do Q&As, I get the opportunity to really talk about the issues that you guys are specifically dealing with and some of the issues that we're kind of fearful of. We can't go to the next level because we're fearful of, this thing. We're fearful of what it looks like at the next level. And that may sound crazy, but I'm going to dive into the topic more. But I definitely want you guys to be sure that you're joining me. And if you have to leave early, you can go ahead and text me. Text the word, can you guys see it over there? Okay, text the word promote to 404-800-1806. And from there, you can have one of these conversations that I'm always talking about with me. If you're serious about your business, you're serious about, taking your business and your brand to the next level, building your brand awareness, then go ahead and text the word, just the word. Don't text me a whole explanation of yourself. Just the word promote to 404-800-1806. Now it's pinned down there and you guys have it over here at Facebook as well. But this issue is so important because this is kind of the first barrier that I have to go through and I would say, break down those walls and build up that communication and that trust with my clients and the people that I work with. The first thing is always kind of setting up goals, expectations, and your mindset. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about today. The topic of today's PR Breakdown, which is every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Instagram Live and on Facebook Live. You can catch me. But today's topic, we're talking about why you're afraid to promote yourself. Now, I know that this seems silly and everyone's like, I'm not afraid to do it. But if that's the case, why aren't more people doing it? Why aren't more people who have really great businesses, really great ideas, really great things that's happening for them? Hey, you guys, welcome. Why aren't more people doing it? And the reason is because if it was easy, everybody would do it. If it was so simple, everybody would do it. If there wasn't a fear, a hesitation, and everybody was confident, everybody would be doing it, right? But they're not. They're not doing it because of these three things that I'm going to share. So when I have these conversations, I kind of wanted to boil down this topic to really get to the meat, the nitty gritty of what I usually see overall in conversations with people who want to build brand awareness, but they aren't going after it. People who want people to book them for speaking engagements, but they're not getting booked. All of these reasons are boiled down into three main topics that I brought to you guys today, and it is the fear of self-promotion that we're going to talk about today. Okay. So my first thing is, most of the time as business owners, most of the time as, music artists, even as book authors, we have not figured out who we're talking to yet. That is one of the most important things when it comes to building your brand awareness. When you want people to know about you, when you want people to understand what it is that they need from you, that right there is your core. So if you're going to start somewhere, start there. So you have to figure out who you're talking to. I know oftentimes when you guys get freebies, we've all downloaded freebies, right? Find your ideal client, download this freebie. Find who you need to be talking to, download this freebie. And one thing that they always tell you is, let's list out who your ideal client is. And from someone who is looking to build that brand awareness, looking to build that foundation, you guys don't really know. There hasn't been a whole lot of customers that you've had yet, a whole lot of clients that you had yet to say, these are the people who I work best with, and these are their characteristics and their traits. So instead, you start by guessing. And most of the time when you make that guess of the ideal client, who do you name? You name yourself. When I first did the exercise, like I said, I know PR, but at the same time, I had to get business coaches to teach me certain things within my business. So, for me, I was like, yeah, the ideal client is somebody with an afro. They're probably short. They really love hip hop. They love music. They're really serious about their business. They want to take things to the next level. And all I was doing was describing myself. How many of you have done that? How many of you have, when people tell you like, oh, line out your ideal client, line out who's going to be most interested in this thing. The person you end up lining out, the person you end up making these lists for, you know, you're describing all their traits, good morning, all their characteristics, you're just describing yourself. And it's not that there aren't hundreds of people out there like you, but you have to be aware of the variations. Even the variations that you find within yourself, you know, one day you may feel this way, the next day you may feel another way. It doesn't mean that you aren't that person. It just means that, you know, ideals and perspectives from day to day change. So when you're listing out that ideal client, it's really hard to do. Yes, you described yourself, right? So now you're on this hunt and you're searching for people who are exactly like you. And the problem with that is we haven't realized that there are people who are very, very similar to us. People who want to buy from us, people who want to, you know, participate in the events that we have going on, but we may have to find them somewhere else, which brings me to my next point. You have not mastered or understood which platforms you should be promoting yourself on. You haven't figured out, hey, do I need to live stream? You haven't figured out, do I need to be on SoundCloud and iTunes doing podcasts? You haven't figured out if you just text, awesome. You haven't figured out, you know, where your people are. You remember we talked about all of those different variations. People who are like you, but they may not have a Facebook, so you can't reach them on Facebook. Or they're just like you, but they like listening to podcasts instead of watching live streams. There are so many different variations of that person. So if you haven't really figured out the ideal client and you haven't figured out, you know, which platform you should be talking to them on, that makes it so difficult to promote yourself. And you feel that inside. You know that you aren't able to connect with these people to the best of your ability and on those platforms because you don't really know. And that's one thing about being a thought leader, a business owner, an entrepreneur, somebody who's looking to get into those fields. A lot of times we have to admit that we don't know what we don't know. We have to be willing to admit that there are certain things we just don't know. So like I told you guys earlier, yes, I know PR, but I still had to hire business coaches because there are things I didn't know. Things I didn't know until I got to that point. I didn't know that I needed to get a bookkeeper because admin days were making me lose my hair, literally. I didn't realize going into business for myself, these were things that I needed. So what I did was I connected myself with somebody who knew those things. I connected myself with somebody who could teach me those things. Hey, Brian. So overall, the number one reason we aren't promoting ourselves, the number one reason we aren't putting ourselves out there, because we don't know who we're talking to yet. We have not figured it out. We haven't worked with a professional. We haven't done the research, or we don't even know how to do the research to figure out where these people are, what platforms they're on, what we should be saying to them, what they want to hear from us. Now, how important is that? What do people want to hear from us? Are we talking about the right thing? So all of that is a reason why, you know, there's this fear, there's this procrastination around promoting yourself. You don't want to deal with your own PR when you don't really know who you're talking to. That means you're contacting the wrong media outlets, right? That means that you're showing up on the wrong platforms and you feel like it's going to be a waste of time. So there's that hesitation. There's not that confidence in it. So speaking of confidence, that's number 2. So if you're just joining me, I'm here every week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook Live, on Instagram Live, doing the PR Breakdown series. And this PR Breakdown series talks about really awesome topics surrounding public relations and DIY methods for your business. If you've never met me before, hey, welcome. Hi. I'm Jamelia Ramad of JRPR, and I help you hashtag befriend your brand. That means I help you talk to media outlets, and I help you build relationships with the right people to bring awareness to your business. So every Wednesday at 10 a.m., we're doing the Eastern Standard Time. We're doing the PR breakdown. Okay, so back into it. So the number one reason why we're afraid to promote ourselves is because we haven't figured out who we're talking to. Number two, our lack of confidence when it comes time to speak about our business, when it comes to, when it comes to talking about how we help people, the things we do for people, the value in our business, the value in our brand outside of just what it is. So superficially, when we talk about our business, we could say, let's say that we own a water bottle company. I always talk about things that are right in front of me, right? So you own a water bottle company, and you kind of make your explanation and the introduction to what you do way more complicated than it should be. And in that complication and trying to tell people, all the excitement that's boiling up inside of us, so often that becomes so complicated that we lose confidence because we haven't quite figured out exactly what to say to them. We haven't figured out exactly what they want to hear from us. So we have these complicated explanations of who we are, these complicated explanations of our ideal client, like we talked about earlier, these complicated, one-page full paragraphs of who we are and what we do. And we haven't just figured out how to boil down what we do into one sentence that's going to immediately make people want to ask more questions about you, immediately make people want to latch on to what it is that you're talking about. So that confidence sometimes is also tied to past failures. Now, we've all failed in some type of way, right? Whether it was, I sent out a pitch and no, it didn't land anywhere, or whether it is, I did a public speaking engagement and it was completely awful. But all of those past failures sometimes can really break into your confidence. It can really break into you wanting to move forward with your business. It can really break into you continuing to do the things that make you consistent in showing up on a platform. So not having that confidence, remember earlier, I told you guys, mindset is huge, but our confidence every day is broken down. Every day we have some hard shit to deal with, whether it's family or friends or business or money. All of these things make it so hard to, push through and to have that confidence and to show up and to be consistent. So a lot of us aren't promoting ourselves because we're failing in confidence, in the ability to really want to talk to others about who we are, about what it is that we can do for them, and about the value that's transferred in payment. And I say that because so often people want a service, but you have to communicate the value of that service. It's more than just the benefits. Yes, I'm going to put you on the radio. So when I talk to people, it's not just, yes, we'll put you on the radio so that you can spread that brand message. What they really want at the end of the day, I do a lot of B2B, business to business. They want sales. They want to make sure that things are working. And while PR is not sales, what it is, and it's not advertising, what it is your opportunity to talk directly to those people who are those ideal clients. After you figured out who those ideal clients are, now you know how to talk to them. You know what they want to hear. So you don't have that confidence when you're tying things to past failures. When you're thinking, I had a book and it came out about a year ago. I sold it to like 10 people and that's it. So I don't think that I'm going to talk about it anymore. Nobody bought from me. But what's the real reason why they aren't buying from you? They can't just instantly read the book. So it's your job to explain what the book is and how it's going to make a transformation in their life. Also, they don't know you. They don't know you. They don't know what you represent. You put out this book and nobody has heard from you aside from this book that they would have to spend a day reading. No, they didn't buy from you. You didn't put yourself out there enough. People ain't even know you had a book. The 10 people who bought from you, it's because they knew you had a book. They were like your aunts, your uncles, your mom, your dad, whoever, your coworker, whatever. Those people bought the book. But you weren't putting yourself out there enough to really be consistent. And why? It's because of those small things like confidence. That is keeping you from promoting yourself. But here's my advice on that. Don't wait until you're confident. If you wait until you're confident, years can go by, months, weeks. You said, if I just make a sale, I could be more confident. If I could just get, one more speaking engagement, I could be confident. I'd be confident if somebody told me I did a good job. But let me tell you this, and is my mic on over here? Because I need you to hear this. If you wait for confidence, you are going to miss every opportunity that's available to you, the things that are right in front of you, because baby, it's a lot of us moving out here afraid. It's a lot of us moving out here not totally feeling confident, but knowing that what we have to offer others is of value. So if it's a value, then we aren't just sitting around waiting to feel better about the situation. We aren't sitting around waiting for someone to bring something to us. We're going out there, we're getting it, scared or not, afraid or not, confident or not. We're still out there, we're moving. So you have to move past that. Thank you. You have to move past that. And I know personally, and like I said, I'm really inspired about these topics because I talk to people every single week on these strategy calls, on these strategy sessions, and these are the things that they're dealing with. I've been there. I know what it's like. I remember my first keynote speaking event. I was a speaker for the CDC. I don't even know how these people found me. I have no idea how they found me, but they found me and they were like, we're having a conference. It's our annual conference for the CDC. And I was like, y'all want me? So I wasn't confident in that moment, but I knew I couldn't let that opportunity pass me. I knew that I wasn't about to take 10 steps back. I knew and at this time I still had my job. I was still in corporate. So I knew that, if I show up at this other corporation as a speaker, talking about my side hustle, what's going to happen? So I was so scared. I was so nervous. I was so afraid. But it was my opportunity to connect with those people who I outlined as my ideal client. At the time, it was a different business. So I was looking for young professionals. This is a young professionals conference. They were Atlanta based. Ooh, it's people local in my area for the events that I host. So I knew right then, I was like, yes, I will come and I will speak to your audience. Yes. Even though I lacked that confidence, even though I was scared, y'all, I was scared. But I was like, I got to do this thing. I have to do this thing. So that's what I mean when you have to move through, even when you're not confident, even when you don't even know what you're going to do, but you still got to move forward. So I said all of that to say, we aren't promoting ourselves because we lack confidence. And I'm telling you, good morning. And I'm telling you, don't wait until you have the confidence. Move now. That's exactly what I am faced with. Exactly. But you just have to move forward. Girl, I've been watching your videos. You think I haven't been? I've been watching you. You're doing great. Keep going. And that's the only thing that you can do. Now, confidence is a muscle. It's about muscle memory. Once you, and I learned this from MJ Harris. Y'all, I love him. I don't know if you guys follow him. MJ Harris, you can type it into YouTube and all his videos will pop up. He's a motivational speaker. He's a millionaire and he he owns an insurance company and stuff like that. I don't know. He motivates me. That's what I could tell you. But one thing that he said about confidence is, you know, when you have to do things afraid, it becomes a muscle. You know, like he said, you know, I speak to millions. I spoke on the same stage as Oprah. But the difference was I got out there and I did what I practiced. I got out there and I gave my best, even though I was scared. And that's the same thing. That first keynote address that I had with the CDC, y'all, I was so scared, but I was like, I'm not about to miss this opportunity, because this is the opportunity, one, for high level networking. Two, it's the opportunity to bring in customers. Y'all really think I wasn't going to do it because I was scared? No, I was like, you know, I'm going to have to do it afraid. And I talked about this experience at 3 years later, the Do It Afraid conference. Full circle, right? So going back to the main topic, we're talking about why are you afraid to promote yourself? The first thing we talked about is you haven't learned how to address your audience. You have not yet learned how to speak to them and what they want to hear from you. Number two, you lack confidence in speaking about your business. There are several ways to get over it, but the first one comes from building up confidence, which can build you muscle memory to, you know, keep doing things, even if you're afraid, to keep practicing, even if you're scared, to keep practicing, even if your confidence was shattered by a past failure, all of those things. All right, so it's Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm Jamelia Ahmad of JRPR, and I help you hashtag befriend your brand. I work with small business owners, creative entrepreneurs, and best-selling book authors who are looking to take their messages to media, and they're looking to build those business opportunities through relationships. Okay, so we're talking about today in the PR Breakdown series, why you're afraid to self-promote. I thought this was such an important topic because it's something that we all deal with. It's something that I personally deal with. It's something that every person that's booked a strategy call with me has dealt with. If you want to book a strategy call, text the word promote. Just the word promote. Don't give me your life story. Just text the word promote to 404-800-1806. And we'll set up a call. But during these calls, this is when I usually dive into, you know, these topics with people. And these are the top 3 things that I'm talking about today. These are the top 3 things that I see. My Instagram just disconnected. If you guys on Instagram are still there, let me know. And it's because I got a call on this Wi-Fi, which I have to turn off. Hold on. Technical issues when you don't put your phone on do not disturb. That's the only time that people will call you a billion times. Like, is it just me, or people will call you a billion times when you live streaming? I live stream the same time every week. Stop calling this phone. So Instagram, I hope you guys are still there. You guys still there? I see thumbs up, so it looks like we're good. We're good. Okay. Yeah, like, stop calling my phone at 10 a.m. on Wednesdays. I'm live streaming. Sorry about that. Okay, hey, Facebook, I still see y'all. All right, so we talked about you haven't learned how to talk about your business the right way. You lack the confidence. Now, the third thing is your unwillingness. Now, we talked about all of these things, right? But the biggest problem that I see is unwillingness. And when I say unwillingness, I mean, y'all, there are people who are like, I know I need this thing. You see, I know I got a good business. I know I have a great product. I know I'm a great public speaker. I know this is a great book. I know that this is an awesome service. But there's unwillingness to go through the process. We want things so instantly. We want to instantly have an audience. We want to instantly have the fame. We want to instantly have those sales. But think about what's really important. The journey is the most important thing. So when I say a process, like I always tell y'all, PR is a process, right? But when you aren't willing to follow the steps, I'll see you later. You aren't willing to follow the steps. You aren't willing to jump to the next thing that's going to carry you higher in your career. That unwillingness that unwillingness to follow processes, the unwillingness to build systems, the unwillingness to follow direction, the unwillingness to do things even when you're afraid. We talked about that confidence, right? The unwillingness to learn new things, learning how to talk about your business. All of these things are what is holding you back from promoting yourself. So often we aren't promoting ourselves because we don't really know how. We don't really know how. That's what it all boils down to. But we aren't willing to ask for help. We aren't willing to let people step in and help us. We aren't willing to be uncomfortable. Remember, I told you we're lacking that confidence, right? But we aren't willing to be uncomfortable. When people say, yeah, well, I think my audience is on live stream. I've seen some other experts, they're on Instagram and Facebook Live. They're telling their stories. They're sharing their glories. But, I feel really uncomfortable doing that. And I know I should be doing more. Y'all know how often I hear that? I know I should be doing more. Then damn it, why aren't you doing it? It's that unwillingness. That unwillingness to get uncomfortable, that unwillingness to follow the directions of your coach, your business advisor, your mentor. Fear can stop you in the middle of the train track. Yes, yes, yes. Truth teller on self-promotion. I've so heavily promoted for the corporation I work for that I have to be careful how I promote myself personally. Absolutely. But you can also build your personal brand, while you're working in corporate. That's what I did. But that unwillingness is holding us back. That unwillingness is keeping us from going to the next level. We don't want to follow directions. And when I say PR is a process, the reason, the reason it's a process is because let's say that we finally get you a hot morning show. Let's say we get you on the Breakfast Club with Charlemagne the God, where he's going to ask you all the realest questions ever. Or let's say that we get you on Good Morning America. Ooh, Good Morning America, you in front of every working person in the U.S. People get up, in the morning to listen to and watch these shows. So let's say we get you on a high profile show. And you ain't gone through the process, right? You haven't done media training. So you don't know how to talk about your business. You haven't taken the time to figure out who you're talking about. You haven't taken the time to build up that muscle memory of confidence. What happens? You get a major opportunity and you crash and you burn live on TV because the Breakfast Club is filmed now. They got a podcast. I listen to the podcast because I can't listen to it in the morning because I don't wake up that early. But people listen to it now. They listen to it later or they can watch it. Good Morning America. Again, abc.com. You can just go and you can watch it. So now your interview is evergreen. That means that it's lasting. People could go back months, weeks from now when they looking you up and they see this terrible ass interview that you did where you didn't know how to talk about your business. You lacked the confidence. You didn't have media training. You couldn't figure out how to sit the right way. You didn't know which camera to look at because you didn't go through the process and you didn't want to go through the process. Let's talk about the back end stuff. Let's say that you do great on that interview. That interview is about your upcoming book and you've done a phenomenal, amazing job. Everyone's like, yes, girl, yes. Where do we go buy your book? And your website look like crap and it totally turns people off. They don't really know how to buy from you. They don't really know where to find you at next because you lack consistency. They're like, yo, are you live streaming? Are you active on social media? Do you have an active website? But guess what? You didn't go through the process of building that foundation before you put the roof on. Because that's ultimate, right? To get that kind of exposure for your business, for your brand, that's the ultimate goal, right? The ultimate goal when you're seeking out PR for your business, when you're seeking out PR for your brand, whether it's your personal brand or the brand of your business, the ultimate goal is to land in the hottest seat and do an interview. But what you going to do when you're not ready because you didn't go through the process? What you gonna do when you have all these people who suddenly want to buy from you, but you're not ready to make those sales? What are you gonna do when it's time for you to have that really bomb interview and you don't know what to say? So you have to go through the steps and the process. It's NPR. So many people come to me and they just say, you know, if I had exposure, it would be all good. So that's what I want. I want a publicist who's just going to get me on TV, get me on radio, do all of these things immediately. I'm ready to go, 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 go. But your brand is lacking. Your website ain't right. Your photos aren't right. You don't know how to talk about your business. You haven't set up sales funnels. You haven't trained your sales people for this explosion that's about to happen when people find out who you are. So why wouldn't you be willing to go through the process? The process to make it right so that when that opportunity comes, you're ready. I have a program called PR Ready, and the entire job of the program is to make sure your ass is ready when they come. So why are we not promoting ourselves? Why are we not promoting ourselves? Because we ain't ready. We ain't ready. And we're not willing to go through the steps that it takes to get ready. And lastly, I have to touch on this one. Y'all know, y'all aren't willing to invest money. You aren't willing to invest money, that unwillingness to invest in yourself, the unwillingness to be like, I want this thing to work. I'm invested. It's going to cost me, $5,000. Let me find out where I can get a line of credit, because I'm going to put everything in it so that this works. Oftentimes people will hire business coaches, or they will hire virtual assistants and not have direction for them because they haven't figured out these things. So you can't say, yeah, you know what, I'm going to hire somebody who's a virtual assistant to send out pitches for me, to do all these things. One, you're not ready. You haven't done the foundation building. And two, you're trying to hire somebody who isn't an expert in PR. So you're investing that money the wrong way, and that's why you're not getting results. Or you're not willing to invest money at all. Now, do y'all think that who's a top food restaurant? McDonald's. There's a McDonald's on every corner. There's a Chick-fil-A on every corner. Whatever. Pick any of them. Now, they're the top in their game, right? They are top. But do y'all think that they stopped spending money on advertising dollars? Do you think that their CEO isn't having a team that's helping him book public speaking engagements? Do you think that their nonprofit organizations aren't showing up in the community? All this stuff takes time, and it takes the investment of money. I'll often get on these strategy calls, and people are like, yes, I want to hire you. How much is it? Oh, well, I don't know. Well, let me figure out. And they aren't figuring it out. That's that unwillingness. Now, let's talk about me and last year, how much I invested to learn Facebook ads. Last year, I realized if I wasn't playing in that field, if I wasn't adding that skill set and that knowledge to my abilities, to my company, I was going to fail. I was going to not get enough exposure. Enough people weren't going to know about me. So I was like, I got to spend money to learn about this thing. So it's just like when you go to college. You go to college because you want to learn a skill set. You want to have this degree to tell people that you can do this thing that you've never done, but you got a degree to say that you can do it, right? You invested that money in college, but you won't invest in your business to learn bookkeeping. That's what I had. I had to learn that last year too. I had to learn bookkeeping. I had to learn it and then hire somebody else to do it for me, because once I learned it, I realized that wasn't something I could do. Not along with everything else that I did, but I needed to know what it was about. So whether you're hiring a business coach to help you figure out how to, manage those things in our business, accounting, bookkeeping, recruiting, promotion, all of that stuff. You hire a PR coach like me because you want to learn to talk about your business. You want to be more confident moving in that space. All of those things are going to require the willingness to invest. And that's one thing about business. You have two things that you can invest. It's either time or it's money. You can spend time doing a thing, or you can spend money getting it done. You can spend time learning a thing, or you can spend money having someone teach you everything that they know. So there has to be that investment, that willingness to invest in yourself, that willingness to invest in your education, to invest in your automation, to invest in your systems. All of those things matter. And it's an investment. And I say that because with investments, you get a return. Do you think that I spent $5,000 last year learning Facebook and I didn't get a return? No, if I spend that kind of money, I'm going to go, I can't think of a better word. I'm going to go balls deep and learn it and master it and be able to teach other people. So why would you invest in a coach and not do the things that they tell you to do? Why would you invest in getting services and you aren't willing to go through the full process of the services? Do y'all feel me? That unwillingness is keeping us from promoting ourselves. That unwillingness and that fear. So, hey, that's all three things. We're done. If you have not figured out who you're talking to, you don't quite know who your audience is. If you are lacking in confidence when it comes time to speak about your business, to talk about your products, to talk about your brand, to really convey to people why they need to do business with you. If you have that unwillingness to follow directions, that unwillingness to invest in yourself, these are the things that's keeping you from promoting your business. But I'm here to help. Text the word promote to 404-800-1806. It's down there in the comments too. Text just the keyword promote. And we can get on a call and we can talk about these things during these mini strategy sessions. But really, you have to know. And if you're getting on a call with me, you have to know that it's about an investment in your business. Don't get on this call because you just want to talk to me, just because you want to have a live stream for yourself on the phone. No, let's really get down to what's holding you back. Let's really talk about what's keeping you from being great. Let's really talk about what your next best steps are. What are your next best steps? What is the next thing that I need to do to go to the next level in my business? Good morning. Okay, so now you know what it is that you're supposed to do next, but I'm here every Wednesday at 10 a.m. for the PR Breakdown series. Today we talked about why you're afraid to promote yourself. And that boiled down to you haven't figured out who you're talking to, you lack confidence in talking about your business, and you have an unwillingness to take yourself to the next level. It's sad, but it's true, y'all. Now, if you're just not jumping in, go ahead, catch that replay. The replay is 24 hours on Instagram, and it lives on Facebook, facebook.com/befriendyourbrand. All right, so I'm out of here for today. I hope you guys got some great jewels. I hope some of you are texting me, and I will see you guys later. Thanks so much for joining me. Go to befriendyourbrand.com if you just want to know more about me. Thank you all for joining. Thank you. I'll see you guys later.